Hello, welcome to GeoBytes, your daily roundup of news from geospatial industry. I'm your host Bhanu Rekha. For the next 15 minutes, I will bring you the latest from Earth-watching satellites, product launches, and we'll take a look at what's happening in the UK and the Asia-Pacific region. Technologically advanced nations like France have always used their space sector as a foreign policy tool. But the increase in availability and the ease of accessibility of high-resolution Earth imagery from around the world has created an imbalance in France's diplomatic equation. Brigadier General Jean-Daniel Teste, a commander of the French Joint Space Command, addressed this issue in the French Parliament recently. He revealed that since the information from French military surveillance satellite Helios 1A contradicted with what the United States predicted about Iraq's alleged weapons of mass destruction, France did not participate in the Second Gulf War. Teste confirmed that it was a good move because by doing this, France was able to save the equivalent of one surveillance satellite per year. Teste also said that though France is not jealously guarding the imagery for itself, but the nation has used space diplomacy to increase its weight on the international scene. It should be noted that the French military is Europe's most active user of space-based assets. In fact, the Helios 1 satellite was the baby of the first European space defense program. The French military is trying to resist the US trend towards privatizing what once were government-only space capabilities. Reacting to this news on Twitter, Geospatial Media and Communications CEO Sanjay Kumar said it was a nice perspective on diplomatic values of images and that privacy policy seems an unrealistic campaign given the constellations. In another development, an Indian rocket has put 5 British satellites into orbit. Out of these, 3 are Earth observation satellites. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV was used for liftoff last weekend. Carrying a total commercial load of 1440 kilograms, it put Surrey's Satellite Technologies 3 identical 1-meter resolution optical Earth observation satellites into a polar sun-synchronous orbit. The DMC Triple-Sat disaster monitoring satellite constellation will be able to target any place on the Earth once a day. Also, the wide swath of the satellites is aimed to provide the best combination of spatial resolution and temporal resolution. The imagery will be used in operational monitoring applications like urban planning and intelligent management. Let's take you to the DMC mission video now.
The DMC-3 constellation is designed to address the need for simultaneous high spatial resolution and high temporal resolution optical Earth observation. Coupled with a state-of-the-art imager and an agile spacecraft platform design, the DMC-3 constellation will offer a fast, accurate and reliable service to the EO data user community. The data thereof will be utilized in surveying the resources on Earth and its environment, managing urban infrastructure and monitoring disasters.
Also from the domain of Earth observation, hydrologists from the University of North Carolina have come up with an innovative way to estimate the size of rivers using satellite images from the Landsat program. The traditional method involves examining topographic maps and backing out calculations from the amount of river discharge measured at certain points along the watershed. But now, researchers George Allen and Tamlin Pavelski have compiled a new database of river widths by running 1756 Landsat images with minimal cloud cover through a software program that automatically locates the center line and edges of a river. It was observed that some of the widest stretches of rivers in North America are found along the Yukon in Alaska, the Mackenzie in Canada's Northwest Territories, the Hudson in New York's St. Lawrence along the border of New England and Quebec, and the Mississippi. Moving on to product launches, software solution provider In8 has released Infinity Enterprise Resource Viewer, a visual solution that allows companies to integrate 3D BIM models with project schedule, procurement, cost, and other data. It consolidates 3D BIM models from different design systems and links them with disparate data sources across the project lifecycle. It compiles as-built details to streamline the turnover process and enables owners to conduct maintenance efficiently. This improves efficiency, visibility, and control. Infinity is built on SAP 3D Visual Enterprise application. Let's see what Bill Ponsetti, CEO of In8, has to say about this product.
Well, there are plenty of 3D visualization tools on the market, but they serve a very specific segment of a construction project. They're written in a proprietary language, so they can only be seen by people who have their product. The SAP product, combined with the power of In8, has removed that barrier so that all data associated with a model can be combined into one model that can be seen by everyone and enriched with business context. That's groundbreaking.
In another development, the United Nations Platform for Space-Based Information for Disaster Management and Emergency Response conducted an expert mission to El Salvador last week. The mission was used to discuss the agency's recommendations, including the establishment of a national geospatial information system. Also on the agenda was the establishment of an interinstitutional team of professionals which would focus its efforts in the generation of space-based information in disaster risk reduction and emergency response. The agency proposed a series of maps regarding the Vegetation Condition Index as a way to contribute to early warning for famines and drought management efforts in the country. We will now slip into a short break, but when we return, we will have a look at the developments from the UK and the Asia-Pacific region.
Once again, Trimble is leading the way in positioning technology with the new Trimble R8S GNSS receiver. An entirely new way to look at receiver possibilities. Simply choose the configuration and features you require today. Then, add features as you need them tomorrow. It's the ultimate in scalability. With this innovative receiver, you tailor your system to your job, to the way you work. Choose the level of configuration that suits your needs. As your requirements change, the Trimble R8S can adapt. You simply add functionality whenever you want it. Each Trimble R8S comes standard with integrated Maxwell 6 chips, Trimble 360 tracking technology, and more. All to keep you productive and expand the reach of your GNSS system. Plus, it offers our exclusive web UI for remote monitoring and the new Trimble DL Android app for GNSS data logging. And the Trimble R8S maximizes productivity by easily integrating with the Trimble S-Series total stations and our innovative V10 imaging rover. For ultimate field efficiency, combine the Trimble R8S receiver with a Trimble controller and the intuitive Trimble Access Field software. Trust Trimble Business Center to help you edit, process, and adjust your data. It's the kind of solution you have come to expect from Trimble. We've been setting the standard in positioning technology for more than 30 years. See how we're raising the bar again with the Trimble R8S GNSS receiver.
Welcome back. UK-based startup What 3 Words is trying to innovate the global addressing system by dividing the Earth into a grid of 3 meter by 3 meter squares. Each square has been allocated with a fixed and unique 3-word address. So by giving the world's 4 billion unaddressed people an address, the company has won the prestigious Innovation Grand Prix at the Cannes Lions Awards in France. The What 3 Words solution is especially useful for humanitarian work. For example, maintaining thousands of water points across Tanzania or helping after a natural disaster like the earthquake in Nepal. There is another development coming from What 3 Words headquarters. The company has hired Gary Gale, a British geocoding expert and former director of places at HERE, as its chief technology officer. Gary will bring his 20 years of experience in the mapping and location space to help integrate What 3 Words addressing solution into mainstream services across the globe. Reports are coming in from India that the country's railway ministry wants to leverage information technology to improve the efficiency of its network. For this purpose, the ministry wants to focus on technologies like GIS, cloud, analytics, and predictive analysis. The officials want to integrate applications to make real-time information readily available. Locomotives and wagons will be installed with proximity or RFID sensors. They would be tracked using GPS or GIS technology. A member of the Railways IT Advisory Council tells that the focus is to bring in more efficiency, build in more safety, and integrate various operations of railways through technology. Australia's ocean research vessel Investigator, which is equipped with sonar that can map the seafloor at any depth, has discovered extinct volcanoes likely to be 50 million years old. These volcanoes are located about 250 kilometers off the coast of Sydney in 4,900 meters of water. The chief scientist of the voyage, marine biologist Professor Ian Southers, tells that the Investigator is able to send and receive data while it is at sea. This allows the research teams to analyze the information along with satellite imagery. Professor Richard Arculus from the Australian National University believes these particular types of volcanoes are equally important to geoscientists because they are like windows into the sea floor. He says these volcanoes will now help scientists target future exploration of the sea floor to unlock the secrets of the Earth's crust. Satellite imagery has revealed massive fires burning in what was once one of the world's most biologically rich forests, Indonesia's Teso Nilo National Park. In response, Blue Raster has created maps to analyze the region where fires are burning. Using 50 cm resolution imagery along with NASA MODIS fire data, the maps capture the illegal activity occurring within the boundaries of this protected land. To know more about the fires, visit the link visible on your screen now. In collaboration with the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development (ICIMOD), the government of Nepal has launched an information platform detailing recovery and reconstruction missions after the massive April earthquake. The platform streamlines information from multiple sources into a single gateway of validated data called Nepal Earthquake 2015. It utilizes high-resolution satellite imageries, ancillary and field-level data, and aerial imagery sourced from UAV missions, among others. The platform shows interactive maps and infographics related to demography and damage, needs assessment, and the response required. It also has a geohazard map journal and a live feed system for disaster alerts. That's all we have for you in GeoBytes today. Find us on www.geobiz.com and follow GeoBuiz on Twitter. We will be back shortly with GeoBuiz exclusive. Stay tuned.
Geospatial industry is evolving with time, adding newer dimensions, converging with other technologies and expanding across verticals. Feel the pulse of its growth story. Catch the technology innovators, system integrators, business drivers, and policymakers share their knowledge, experiences, and ideas at GeoBuiz Leaders Summit. Join the knowledge pool.
Can you tell us a little bit about Geo and what it is that you do in the organization?
We have a lot of obviously formidable competitors in the mapping space.
But saying human geo, I was like perplexed. Why the name human to the geospatial angle?
If we think about land, I mean, land is a key core to prosperity.
Thank you, Hugo, for speaking with GeoBuiz and Geospatial World. Good morning, Damian. It's a pleasure speaking with you on this occasion. I want to understand what exactly solutions business is all about at Esri.
A few years ago, Esri started a new division focused on solutions. The idea is be able to provide technology to our customers that gives them a step up, a ready-to-use applications, pre-configured maps, pre-configured platform configurations that they can just use. We've really moved from a state where most of our customers want a generic toolbox to many of our customers actually want to start with an app. They want to start with something ready to use for them or be inspired about what they can do with GIS rather than start with a blank set of tools. So we build a set of about 200 maps, apps, and platform configurations across a number of different industries. So that's state and local, provincial government, utilities and telecommunications, emergency management, parks and gardens, and military and intel. And each delivery is more than just a sample. It's actually fully supported and maintained.
As I understand, Esri has about 30 plus industry managers working. Is it all coming under the solutions group?
No, we're a separate division. So we divide our industry specific into 14 specific areas, and those break out to about 60 different sub areas. But within solutions, we focus only on a small subset of those, where we've really had definition from the market that they need specific apps to help them get going. And it's really a start for us. As more markets get more mature and we understand what they need, we're able to develop and deploy additional solutions.
Would you mind sharing a couple of examples on what kind of apps or what kind of solutions you're developing?
Sure. A very simple one is one we've built for local government. It's called special event planning. Many municipalities have parades or block parties or flea markets where they have to plan the event. Many times what we find is different parts of the local government aren't actually working on the same map. So we give them a map template that they can use in desktop to author, to plan the event, and then share that in online and use it in mobile applications. So the police know where the emergency facilities are, the crowd control people know where the restrooms are, and everything is planned. And if something happens, if water station 1 runs out of water, you update that directly on the map, and everybody has a common understanding of what's being delivered. Another very simple example is one in the utility space. If you look at most utilities, when they come to your door, almost all the trucks have a little notebook, paper notebook somewhere stuck in the cab. And it has the list of bad customers or places with big dogs, because it's what they need to know when they go and they do the same route. Well, what happens when that person's on vacation? The next guy discovers the bad dog the wrong way. So what we've done is build a very simple app using the platform that allows them to put the comments directly in, view it on any web device, so everybody knows any customer issues. And it's all about employee safety at the end of the day.
Does Esri enable individuals and enterprises to make their own solutions and their own app-based solutions for their enterprise, or it is something that Esri has to chip in and make it for them?
No, actually, enterprises have been doing this for themselves for decades. And one of the things that we're providing is everything that we do is open source. It's provided in GitHub as a repository under an Apache license. So we're enabling partners to build on it, customers to use it directly, adopt it however they want, or just to inspire them, but they may take a completely different path of what they deliver.
They have access to ArcGIS online data as well?
Yes, all the data is either packaged with it in GitHub, or it's available from services.
I understand that the apps business, or the very concept of apps, is dynamically changing how anybody perceives GIS at all. So how this is making GIS much more ubiquitous, or more a common thing that anybody can use it.
Apps are fundamentally changing everything. It's not just GIS, it's changing our perception, how we deal with photos and how we deal with email and how we deal with contacts. And in GIS, what it's done is it's made apps geospatial something that can become ubiquitous on everybody's device. They may not know to call it GIS. Yeah. The person in the field who's reporting that a street light is broken, they don't know they're using GIS. They actually are, but they don't really care. It's about geo-enabling these apps everywhere, and it becomes the purpose of the GIS professional to understand how their data is going to be used. And that's really one of the new steps. GIS professionals used to build the data, build the map. Now they need to start thinking about how do they get their map out there? How do they share it in such a way that people find it useful? Just sharing raw data is useful to a small percentage of developer type people, but when you share an app that makes it come alive, that's when it starts getting useful. Going back to the report a streetlight out, crowdsourcing information for a city is really powerful and something most cities want to take advantage of, to ask their citizens to help them report things. And now it's easy within the GIS to set this up so the crowd can help feed the information into the system. And the crowd doesn't know anything about GIS.
The crowd doesn't know about GIS, but is still using, and there is the potential, the crowd is using the apps and has started making their own solutions or whatever. And that brings me to a point that the potential that can be evoked out of this kind of an easy, flexible app is humongous. Is Esri also capturing that kind of potential, or igniting that potential among the users? Because working through partners, working through customers is actually, I feel, is limiting the potential of this.
Yes and no. Esri is definitely committed to making apps that are robust and powerful, but we're also not really a consumer company.
I know that.
So, but that said, just because it's GIS doesn't mean it should be hard. Right?
It's not hard, it's pretty easy now, and that is the reason why it has more powerful, it's more powerful than ever before.
Yes.
Right. So how are we unleashing the power of this GIS to much more population?
Well, it really comes down to, you have to make GIS relevant to what they do.
Yeah.
So if you look at, we have a product we launched last year called GeoPlanner, which a planner.
Okay.
which allows you to, it's an online SaaS-based application that allows you to sketch designs and plans using weighted overlay to be able to pull together different layers of information and create multiple scenarios from that. Now that completely changes the way you think about bringing together. What you used to do is bring 30 people in a room, draw on a board and with acetate and march up. But now you can make that community, the whole community, come up with ideas. How should we plan this? So it's about finding those apps that really resonate with that market. We're seeing that in data collection. We're seeing that in water utilities. We have a case study on our website with White House Water Utility District in Tennessee that has tens of millions of dollars of savings now from implementing these simple, ready-to-use applications on water loss that really, at the end of the day, is money for the utility. And those apps are making a tremendous difference in going viral within the utility. They're not really going to go viral outside of water utilities. That's not really their space. So if you look at each of the solutions that we deliver, they're intended for a specific market, a specific use case.
So a specific spot solution kind of a thing?
Yes, everything that we build in my group is very specific to an industry, to a particular workflow. And they're not intended to be everything. They're really intended to solve one particular problem, and many times that means a problem that works in conjunction with a partner solution or the customer's homegrown solution as well.
How is this, it is also required that these spot solutions need to integrate with the complete workflow as well. So how is that achieved?
Right now, the complete workflow for most customers involves several different systems. And it's hard to provide a template that just works with everybody's system. So what we do is we provide a very simple app. This is how the inputs come in like this and the outputs come in like this. Then you get to wire that up. And that's really where partners come in. Partners can bring in that domain experts of going, well, I know how to work with SAP, so let me wire this up to our work order management system. We're not intending to build replacement apps that our partners have or that other vendors have. We're really providing the small focused applications that allow GIS to move out of the back office into everywhere across the organization.
So how are you finding the response to these apps?
Oh, we're getting tremendous success, in different markets with White House Utilities and Water as an example. We have a number of different cities around the US and Europe and Asia now implementing parts of the applications. We have widespread adoption for many of the military apps across US and Europe. It's really absolutely tremendous, the amount of interest that we're getting from these and the way it's really helping people move their GIS forward while complementing everything they've done.
As we have talked about these apps, so what do you see coming in the next 2-3 years? I wouldn't really take you in a longer into the future, but next 2-3 years, what can we expect and anticipate from Esri on the solutions front?
Esri as a whole, the platform will greatly increase over the next few years with more capability with 3D in the browser and more connectivity across for everyone, as well as new data. But specifically in the app space, we have a tremendous focus at just making things simple. So that's modernizing some of the apps that have been out there 2-3 years. 5 years is a decade in internet time, so we need to update these to continue to be fresh and updated, and that's part of the reason they're fully supported and maintained. We see a lot more with crowdsourcing. We just released a first set of applications that allow cities to crowdsource information or citizen science or observations or data report, as well as a back end to allow the inside of the company to look at what has come in and qualify them. We see that growing tremendously. We have a new application released here in a couple months that allows more of a crowdsourced polling, where a city might put a set of plans and ask for feedback from the citizens. The notion of getting the crowd involved is very interesting, and there's a lot of interest in the municipalities and utilities of how they can leverage those, especially in emergency situations. So if there's a hurricane or earthquake, how can the crowd not just be a voice crying that everything is broken, but a voice providing their input to the people who actually can fix it.
So can we call these apps 2.0 kind of?
The notion of Web 2.0, Web 3.0 is so nebulous at this point. It's more of continued improvement of the apps, with focused at what the customers are wanting to do. One important point is every app we build is built with a customer. So we work closely with a customer to find their requirements and push those out. We have some more templates for ArcGIS Pro coming to add more, take advantage of that new analysis environment as well as the web applications and mobile apps.
Okay. Any new application areas that you're looking at with these new templates?
There are a number of them. Can't really discuss which areas at this point. It's really, we're working closely with our sales and business development division to say, okay, what areas do you need it and why? Where can they benefit from small, simple applications that help them grow? And what are those apps? We have hundreds of ideas of which apps might be useful. But we need to work with some customers to find out which apps are really going to be useful for not just that customer, but all customers like that, so that we can really float everyone up.
If I talk about the revenues coming from apps are fairly very small when compared to the revenues that you can get from licensing a desktop enterprise kind of a new product. So how does this match up in terms of revenues?
Well, actually, everything that we build is free.
All
All the solution apps are part of the ArcGIS. If you're licensed to ArcGIS, all of this comes in free.
Okay.
So we don't sell individual apps very much. There's a couple of exceptions, but mostly we license the platform. And your level of platform gives you access to a number of different apps. For instance, the traditional world of desktop, if you were ArcView and then you became ArcGIS Basic, you used to think you just got the CD. But nowadays, when you get ArcGIS Basic, you actually get not just the CD and now all the base maps, but you get an online account which gives you access to all the apps. They come as part of desktop now. So just with your single desktop basic license, you can take that into the field with Collector and publish dashboards as well, all as part of what you've already have. So we're really trying to enable people to take the platform and expand that out with what they do with it. They're licensing the platform right now rather than individual bits. And also, all of the solution templates that we provide, not only are they free and and fully supported, they're actually all open source.
I think that's something that I really wanted to understand. What is the app plans from Esri? Thank you so much.